In a moment that seemed to break all the unspoken rules of historical C-dramas, Rin Jialuan and Bai Lu delivered a kiss so emotionally charged that it left viewers both breathless and stunned. Known for their nuanced portrayals and emotional subtlety, these two actors ignited the screen in one and only with a kiss that did more than just seal a love story. It sparked a wildfire of fan theories, trending hashtags, and critical analysis. At a time when on-screen intimacy in Chinese television is carefully moderated, this scene pushed boundaries and delivered what fans had long been craving: unfiltered passion with narrative purpose. This wasn't just a kiss, it was a storytelling milestone that dared to ask, what if emotional restraint gave way to raw honesty? And it did so in a way that brought both characters and viewers to their emotional knees. For longtime fans of Rin Jialuan, the passionate display was a long time coming. In his previous dramas, kisses were either chaste or entirely absent, leaving audiences to fill in the blanks. Despite his ability to portray deep emotional complexity, Rin Jialuan often stopped short of physical affection, opting for meaningful glances and poetic dialogue. Yet this reserved approach created an unspoken tension between actor and audience, a kind of dramatic promise left perpetually unfulfilled. His fans, emotionally invested in his characters, often found themselves yearning for a moment of release, of vulnerability, that went beyond stoicism and longing stares. This kiss in one and only shattered that precedent. It was a rare moment where an actor's restraint gave way to release, and it marked an evolution in how Rin Jialuan approached on-screen intimacy. Bai Lu, too, brought a refreshing emotional accessibility to her role. Her portrayal of Cui Shi was both delicate and fierce, and it complemented Rin Jialuan's brooding demeanor in a way that made the kiss feel inevitable. Audiences weren't just watching a kiss, they were witnessing a promise finally kept. The dramatic payoff was all the more powerful because it had been so long denied. This wasn't merely fan service. It was the emotional exhale after a long, carefully held breath. And with it, Rin Jialuan finally broke the mold he had so carefully crafted. What made the kiss even more impactful was the slow burn that preceded it. Rin Jialuan and Bai Lu built their characters' bond through lingering eye contact, moments of shared silence, and a mutual respect that bordered on reverence. This tension was so palpable that viewers often described it as emotional foreplay, a rare and masterful build-up in an era of instant gratification. But this chemistry wasn't merely about romantic cues. It was a psychological dance. The emotional gravity of their roles, bound by duty, honor, and impending tragedy, meant that every touch, every glance was imbued with consequence. It wasn't just about when they would kiss, it was about whether they should, and what it would cost. That moral weight made the build-up more agonizing and, paradoxically, more delicious. There was also an element of duality in their dynamic. Bai Lu's warmth and open expressiveness played beautifully against Rin Jialuan's quiet intensity. Together, they embodied a yin-yang balance that felt naturally magnetic. Their emotional cues echoed through every frame, a tightening of the jaw, a sudden intake of breath, a step closer that never quite became an embrace, until finally it did. The result? A moment so emotionally saturated that the kiss felt like a thunderclap breaking a long-held silence. That's why it mattered, because it had been built not in haste, but in heartbeats. While the kiss may have looked spontaneous, the execution was anything but. According to production sources, both actors were deeply involved in choreographing the moment to balance authenticity with the sensibilities of their audience. The scene required more than just lip-locking. It needed emotional vulnerability, precise blocking, and a shared rhythm that only actors with deep mutual trust could achieve. This level of authenticity demanded extensive preparation. From lighting to costume movement to even the angle of breath, every element had to synchronize to ensure the moment felt organic. The director's vision was reportedly to blend realism with poetic restraint, allowing the kiss to feel intimate without being intrusive, raw yet refined. And it was Rin Jialuan and Bai Lu's chemistry that elevated this vision from script to screen. Moreover, Bai Lu's professionalism ensured that the scene maintained its artistic integrity. She approached the kiss not as a romantic moment but as a narrative device, an emotional climax necessary for Cui Shi's arc. Meanwhile, Rin Jialuan, ever the perfectionist, ensured that the emotional tone matched the trajectory of Zhou Shengqian's internal conflict. Together, they didn't just film a scene. They sculpted a memory, one that blurred the lines between performance and emotional truth. The aftermath of the scene was nothing short of explosive. Within hours of airing, social media platforms were flooded with reactions. Hashtags related to the kiss trended on Weibo, YouTube comment sections lit up in multiple languages, and international fans began dissecting the moment frame by frame. But this frenzy was more than emotional outpour, it was narrative co-creation. Fans began crafting alternate storylines, analyzing character psychology, and producing elaborate fan edits set to romantic music. For many, the kiss became a point of entry into the deeper symbolism of the series, prompting essays, reaction videos, and think pieces. In this digital age, fans weren't just consuming content, they were contributing to its afterlife. Moreover, the buzz transcended language barriers. International viewers, often separated by culture and geography, found common ground in their reaction to the scene. Subreddit threads, Discord servers, and fan pages exploded in multilingual admiration, turning the kiss into a shared emotional language. It was no longer just about what happened on screen. It was about what that moment awakened in people around the world. This scene marked more than just a turning point in one and only. It signaled a broader transformation in the Chinese drama landscape. For years, on-screen kisses in historical dramas have been subdued, often symbolic rather than sensual. This moment shattered that mold. The implications for the industry were profound. It demonstrated that audiences, both domestic and international, were ready for more emotionally authentic storytelling. It also gave other actors and production houses permission to take similar risks. What was once taboo was now trending. Moreover, it changed how intimacy was conceptualized within storytelling frameworks. Rather than being something added for shock value, romantic scenes could now be viewed as essential emotional peaks within character arcs. The scene became a teaching moment for screenwriters, producers, and even censors, proving that passion and respect can coexist on screen. In essence, Rin Jialuan and Bai Lu redefined the artistic boundaries of the genre. Their performance didn't just raise eyebrows, it raised the bar. Months after the episode aired, its impact is still felt. Clips of the scene continue to circulate, fan edits rack up millions of views, and newer dramas are often compared to one and only's benchmark moment. Critics have cited the scene in discussions of character-driven storytelling, emotional pacing, and even gender dynamics in media. It is now studied as a masterclass in how to deliver a romantic payoff without compromising narrative integrity. This wasn't just a scene. It was a cultural artifact, and its influence is still reverberating. In a sea of dramas competing for attention, one and only stood out by daring to be emotionally honest. The kiss between Rin Jialuan and Bai Lu was more than a plot device. It was a moment of truth that resonated across screens and cultures. It reminded us that the most powerful moments in storytelling are those grounded in genuine connection, crafted with care, and delivered with courage. And in doing so, it set a new gold standard for what romance in C-dramas could and should be. This article is based on public fan reactions, official footage, and known media coverage. It is intended for entertainment and commentary purposes only. Thank you for watching. If you found this analysis insightful, be sure to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into your favorite dramas. Drop a comment below with your thoughts on Rin Jialuan and Bai Lu's iconic scene. We'd love to hear your take. See you in the next video.